Dear Brother, with Alex and Mark, is brought to you by absolutely no one.
Do you have anything in particular you would like to discuss for this here program?
I don't. Well, I asked you the question prior to us pressing the button.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dear Brother podcast. As per usual, we are not on any reasonable schedule or uploading at any reasonable amount.
Nope.
Nope. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're already listening to us, then you've done that. Thank you. You can also find us on YouTube at Dear Brother Podcast on the YouTube. Just search the YouTube and you'll find us there.
Search the YouTube. When was the last time we recorded? Has it been a month?
It was like a month ago, something like that. Yeah, it was prior to Thanksgiving anyway.
Okay.
So how was your Thanksgiving?
It was all right. It was quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Post Thanksgiving has been eventful, but Thanksgiving itself was fine.
All right. Would you like to discuss post Thanksgiving?
No. Weird health things.
Oh.
Yeah.
For you.
No. Yes.
What sort of weird health things?
Unexplained activities. This is now the second time in 6 months that it's happened. And it kind of coincided with my yearly physical, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll actually get some answers this time because I'm going for my yearly physical. Mm-hmm. I got no answers. Nobody knows anything. The only thing I got was a scheduled colonoscopy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, very excited about that.
I'm super excited for you.
January 5th, there's going to be a camera up my rear.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm telling you, fentanyl is great. I hope they give you fentanyl.
I'm not enthused.
Well, look, so when I had my colonoscopy, it was because of potential danger. So right. I was rather concerned leading up to the colonoscopy because it was going to be you have cancer or not.
Right.
And so thankfully I didn't, but
yes.
but the run up to it was a rather unpleasant, worrisome time. But the actual procedure itself was great. I had no idea that I was being probed, and I was delighted by every bit of it. As soon as they put those drugs in me, I was a happy camper, man.
Yeah, I find it odd that you were somewhat conscious for it.
I was only a teeny tiny bit conscious.
Because my understanding is that once they put that in you, you're out.
Yeah. So the way that it was described to me was that I had roughly a choice of how sedated I wanted to be.
Right. And
when I got to the spot where they were going to give me the medication to put me out, I said to the guy, "Hey, I've never been sedated for a procedure before, so I'm pretty nervous about that. I don't know what that's like. I'm a little worried, so take it easy on me," kind of thing. And he goes, "Okay, well we'll start off low, and if I see that you're starting to come out of it, then I'll just pump up the volume." And I went, "All right." And I don't know, within a few seconds of the guy putting the drugs in my system, not even a few, I can't even say it was more than 3 seconds. It was almost instantaneously. I was delighted, and then the next thing I knew, I looked up and I saw on the monitor a picture of my insides.
Right.
And then it was over. And there were like little bits of like dream-like moments of consciousness, but I didn't feel anything. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was fine. And so the only thing I could think of is I woke up a little bit and the guy went, "Oh, he's up," and he hit the button and I went back out. But
fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm less concerned about the camera up my ass, and I'm more concerned about the being knocked. Because like you, I've never been under any sort of sedation whatsoever. Even when I go to the dentist, I tell them do the bare minimum Novocaine and just get to work.
Well, I'm the same way. Yeah. Don't give me that nitrous. I'm not interested in.
Yeah, I don't want it. I just give me one shot, numb it up a little bit, and get to town. Go for it.
In this instance, they're already going to be putting things up your ass. So you go in with that expectation.
Yeah.
And so like if you ever had a fear of being unconscious at a dentist and then waking up with your pants unbuckled after having been probed, it's already happening here. So like just roll with it.
No, it's the probing doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If it wasn't for the drugs, the probing would bother you.
I'm sure they're shoving a 3-foot camera up your ass.
Yeah. Because like there was a brief moment where I knew, like when I woke up at some point during the procedure, where I knew there was a camera up my ass, and I could feel it, and I was like, oh dear, there is a device inside of me now that wasn't there before. Yeah. And when I woke up and I saw that on the monitor, there was they take measurements inside, and they put these like markers in there that say like how far up they are, or like the width of the thing or whatever. And I remember looking up, and there was like a black 8 inches. It said, hey, it was a little marker that said 8 inches. And I looked at it and I went, that's not supposed to be in there. And then that was it. That was like some of the length. So like, yeah, the drugs are great, and you should be open to the drugs, because fentanyl is so damn good. And I've said this before on this show, and I've said it to other people numerous times. Anytime I get the opportunity, I know that everybody's scared of fentanyl, and that it's so dangerous, it's killing people. Yeah, well, it's killing people because they don't know that they're taking fentanyl. But when you know you're taking fentanyl and a professional administers it to you in the appropriate amount, it is wonderful.
Yeah, he's giving me what do you say? The Michael Jackson drug, as he called it, what is it? Prolol? I don't know what the fuck it is. Whatever killed Michael Jackson, that's what they're going to use on me.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, yeah. But again, this is a professional medically administered dose.
I get it.
It's going to be great.
I get it. I know it's not like Joe from the corner is going to be pumping me up with drugs and like, hey, best of luck, guy.
Yeah.
But it's unnerving.
Yeah,
for someone who's a control freak like myself.
Yeah. The beauty of it though is that you have no control. And the moment you decide to be all right with that, it's great. They do a good job.
Yeah,
they know what they're
I'm not
doing.
quite all right with it yet. Well, I'm going to have to. I got about 3 weeks to get all right with it.
Well, but here's the thing is maybe 3 weeks is enough time for you to get all right with it? Yeah. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're going to arrive there and you're going to freak out and you're going to be all upset, and it won't matter because those people are going to put you under and then jam a camera up your asshole.
Yeah, I know.
So enjoy the ride, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want to.
It's great.
I don't want to.
It's great. Do you want me to fly out and hold your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Noted. I'm gonna book a flight so that way I can come and just hold. Because we did at some point or another, didn't we promise each other that we were gonna get colonoscopies together?
I don't remember. Maybe.
I vaguely recall that we were gonna do it like a couples massage, but
it's possible. Couples colonoscopy.
Couples colonoscopy.
It's funny because I was just telling Barbara about that the other day. She was complaining about something. And I was like, "Oh, your stomach's hurt." I was like, "Let's go for a couples colonoscopy together." She was like, "No, I'm good. I have a few years before." I was like, "Eh."
Yeah, it's great. Just it's one of those things where it's like, just get it over with. It happens. You realize it's not as big of a deal as you think it is, and then it's no big deal.
Yeah, again, look, he was explaining to me the whole procedure. He's like, well, the camera's about the size of my pinky. About the size, the width of my pinky, and it's about 3 feet long. And then he explained the whole going in the tools, and if they find something, how they lasso it and cut it out and all. Yeah. And none of that bothered me. I'm like, yeah, no, okay, yeah. I was like, so tell me about the anesthesia part. How does that work?
Yeah. Well,
I was like, how do I wake up? Do they pump me with something to like jolt me up, or it just kind of wears off?
Just wears off.
And he was like, no, it wears off. And I was like, what if it doesn't?
Then that's it. Then you are in a perpetual state of colonoscopy.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of, Mark.
But here's the thing, though. I'm telling you, a perpetual state of colonoscopy is a great place to be.
I don't want to be in a perpetual state of colonoscopy.
Honestly, I think about the time under the drugs that I can recall, during and after the procedure, and I long for that.
Yeah, I don't long for any of that. I don't do well with drugs. Anything that's mind altering.
Yeah, but it's not mind altering. That's the thing. It's not. And even if it is, you don't even know it. That's the beauty of it. Is you have no idea. All you know is you're delighted. Like I come out of the procedure, and I don't remember being wheeled out of the room where they do it, but I remember being in like the recovery area. So basically, you go in. A bunch of nurses come up, they put you in your room or your sheeted area or whatever, and they say, okay, so get undressed, put this gown on, put your stuff in this bag, sit it over here. Do you have any questions? We're going to take your blood pressure and your temperature and all the jazz that they do. And then, they just ask you a bunch of questions like, did you do all the things we told you with the prep? Do you have any other issues, anything you want to talk about? And quite frankly, the whole time I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, I'll just do all the stuff that you tell me and I'm fine, except I'm really worried about being sedated. And they were like, well, that's okay. A lot of people are. It's not a big deal. And when you go to talk to the nurse who's actually going to administer it, you can talk to them and they'll be able to help you understand a little bit better. Okay, fine. So you go through the whole process, and that's about 30 minutes of sitting there, or lying there in the bed ready to go.
Right.
And then you go into the procedure room, and that's kind of like the worst part, actually, is the initial entrance into the procedure room, because it's dark in there. You can see all the bits and tools and screens and things, and like all of a sudden people start showing up, and you got to get on your side and expose your ass to these humans, and you're not yet sedated, so you're like, what the fuck, and this is weird, and okay, everybody sees my asshole now. Nobody's ever seen my asshole, and now everybody's looking at my asshole.
It's there for the world.
It's there for the world. And then the person who administers the drug, will come up and talk to you and be like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. It's about 30 minutes long. They're going to do A, B, C, and D, and I'm gonna help you out through it, and don't worry. And so I said to them, hey, the only problem I have here is this sedation bit. And I said straight to that person, I went, hey, like, I've never been sedated. I'm worried that if you give me too much, I'm going to feel shitty. And he goes, no, it doesn't work that way. You won't feel shitty. You'll feel great. And he was right. So after we had that little brief discussion, now I'm sitting there, right? Or I'm lying there and my asshole is exposed. And I had this moment of like, well, here we go. This is it. It doesn't matter anymore how I feel about this. This is happening. There's no turning back now. And I said to him, okay, go ahead. And he said, yep, you got it. And if you got any questions, let me. And then boop, I was just floating and then I was out cold. Like, it was that quick of like, oh, and then clunk. So the procedure happens. I happen to have a couple of memories of the procedure, but the next thing I know, I'm in the recovery area, and my asshole does not hurt, which is what I thought. I thought my asshole was going to be sore. Was not sore. I'm delighted. And the nurses are coming and they're asking me questions. How do you feel? Is there anything we can get you? Do you have somebody to pick you up? Blah, blah, blah. All the questions that they're supposed to ask you. And I just remember being happy. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I know. And I'm like, hey, do I have cancer? And she's like, well, we don't know yet. We're gonna give you the results before you leave. Don't worry. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just sit here and be delighted. And there was a 30-minute period where I was in this recovery area. It seemed like 30 seconds. Like I have no real memory of it taking that long. And then at some point or another, I'm in the car with Beth because they wheel me down. And they called her actually and told her that I didn't have colon cancer ahead.
Right.
Of me.
I would imagine in your state, they're not going to tell you because you may not remember it.
Right. And so like, I didn't find out that I didn't have colon cancer until I got in the car and I asked the person who wheeled me out. I'm like, so do I have it? And she's like, no, you're healthy. Colon's great. Have a nice day. So I get in the car and all I remember is I was delighted. We went to McDonald's. I ate some inordinate quantity of McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. And I don't remember doing this, but according to Beth, I did a jig in the parking lot at McDonald's after I finished eating. Like, I got out of the car and I started dancing. And I don't know. I got home. I felt great. I took a really good nap. And that was it.
Fair enough.
It was great. It was great. The worst part about a colonoscopy is the prep, is the drinking or the eating of the pills that they make you take to make you clear out your
I don't
colon.
have pills. I have powder.
Okay. Yeah. So like some people get a drink, some people get a powder, some people get pills.
Yeah, I've got the
It's all
drink.
same.
I got to start that at 5:00 on the 4th, and then the rest of the drink at 6 a.m. the next day. for the final cleansing.
What time is your colonoscopy?
That's the weird thing. They didn't tell me. They're like, we'll call you the day before to let you know what time to come in. And I was like, really?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I was like, isn't this like supposed to be all fucking timed out?
Yeah, I would do yourself a favor and maybe call and be like, hey, I need a little bit more rigidity to my schedule, because the thing is, so mine was pretty like, oh, because I think it was 8 a.m. was my colonoscopy. So like they were like, oh, you're coming in at 8 a.m. Then therefore you must take the first dose of laxative at this time. Right? So
Well, that's what they told me. They said I can't eat anything the day before,
Right.
right? And then at 5 p.m. the day of 5 p.m. the 4th, I have to drink the first half of the drink, and then 6 a.m. of the 5th, I have to drink the second half. So I have to assume that my procedure is going to be sometime in maybe late morning, early afternoon.
It's probably like 10, 11 a.m. or something like
Yeah.
that. Because like the hard part for sure is not eating anything all day, like at all.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be rough.
And then when you have to take the first dose, it's actually kind of amazing, right? You have, I think it's like 15 minutes, at least for me anyway. It was 15 minutes. I took these pills, giant horse pills, and I have to drink them with a prescribed amount of water.
Right.
And the speed and efficiency with which they operate is really quite amazing.
Hey, it's a laxative.
No, see, here's the thing.
It's what they do.
It's not an ordinary laxative. It's fucking magic.
It's like Drano.
Yeah, so your colon is primarily responsible for deciding how much water is either in or not in your feces as it exits your body. And this thing somehow decides that all of the water in your body goes to your colon now. Kidneys be damned. Kidneys, no, you guys are, it's almost like it shuts the kidneys off or something. I don't know.
Take a day off, guys. I got this.
Yeah. And so the first thing you realize is that after you take it, whatever's in you, because you're allowed to drink various fluids throughout the day,
Sure.
and you should, right?
Yeah, you should.
Whatever's in you starts to come out immediately. And by the way, there's control. Like my fear was that like, will I be able to control the liquid
Right.
coming out of me?
Am I just going to shit myself?
Right, but it's perfectly controllable. Like you know when it's coming, you have the time to get to the bathroom, and you're able to mitigate any issues.
Right.
It's very fascinating. But what starts to happen is after you've cleared any residual solids out of your body through this process, right? You're now in the world where it's all liquid.
Right.
It is pure liquid. There's not a single bit of solid left in you. And when you drink a thing, within, I don't know, 5 minutes, your colon sends it out.
Interesting.
And there was a point where I was eating Jell-O. I made Jell-O ahead of time so that way I had something to like pretend
Yeah.
like I was eating food. So I'm eating Jell-O, and Jell-O is mostly water and sugar,
Yeah.
right? So it didn't dawn on me until that. And so I'm eating this bowl of Jell-O, like, oh yeah, it feels good to eat something. And then 5 minutes later, I pissed out of my asshole. And then the Gatorade happened. I was drinking blue Gatorade. And I started to wonder what happens to the blue. Because when you drink blue Gatorade, you don't pee blue.
No.
Right? You pee colored. And then the blue goes somewhere else. Well, it turns out the colon handles the blue.
Right.
Because when you drink blue Gatorade and you're prepping for a colonoscopy, what comes out of your ass is blue Gatorade.
Interesting.
It's a direct relationship between your mouth and your asshole at that point.
It's just one tube.
It's just one tube, and it's kind of amazing. The thing I would say for sure is like you need to drink a lot, because even though it seems like fuck, well, I'm just gonna piss it out. What's the point? But the laxatives actually actively remove water from your body,
Right. You got to stay hydrated.
so you got to stay. Because if you don't drink, you will feel like, holy fuck, where's all the water in my body going? And it's going out your
Yeah.
asshole. So you got to replace that really fast. So it's just this game of like drinking and pissing out your ass, drinking and pissing out your ass.
I got to imagine there's not much sleep happening that night.
It wasn't as bad for me. I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to take the second dose, which sucked because I did like the first dose ran its course in about an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours.
Right.
And I was able to go to sleep. I was exhausted. I didn't feel great, but I was able to go to sleep. But then I had to set an alarm to get up to do it again. And then it takes about 20, 30 minutes for it to activate. And then it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours for it to finish. And in doing that, that was the worst part, because now I'm up at 4 a.m. I haven't eaten anything like in 20 something hours. I'm exhausted. My butt's tired, and I got to do this again. That was the worst part of it. And then I remember being really cold, actually, especially that morning on the way to the colonoscopy and throughout up until it was over. I just remember being really cold, and I said that to somebody. And they said, "Oh yeah, no. Well, you got to think you've been drinking nothing but mostly cold liquids for 24 hours, and they've been passing right through you. You've like evacuated all this heat from your body.
Makes sense.
So you get tired and cold. That's the worst part. Like the drive on the way there was like actually the worst part, because I was worried that I might have to pee out my butt again,
Right.
on the drive." And then there would be for me, it was a 45-minute drive. So it was going to be, not a thing I wanted to do, but that didn't happen. The timing of it worked out just fine, but I was cold. I was tired. I wasn't happy. But man, those drugs, as soon as they put those drugs in me, man, it was like the world turned into a beautiful flower.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you should be excited. I would be excited. I can't wait for my next colon. I have to wait 5 years, I think they told me. So I have at least another 4 years worth of waiting before I get to have my colonoscopy again.
Yeah, that's what the doctor said, assuming everything is fine, which more than likely it is. It's just I'm getting it because of my age and my family history. So the doctor was like, well, you should probably do this now, not wait till 45.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
I'm really happy for you.
I'm not.
I know. But I am.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you because I know. I
What
know
do you
what
know?
it's like. And so I'm happy for you. It's great.
All right.
It's the best
We'll
time.
see.
It's the best time you can have with a camera up your ass.
Yeah, again, man, the camera up my ass doesn't really bother me so much as the sedation
I'll
part.
tell you what, if the drugs weren't there, the camera would bother you.
Well, I'm sure it would.
Oh man, would it bother you?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
The guy said it was like it's about 3 feet long. Like 3 feet? Where are you sticking 3 feet in me?
Oh yeah. It's a twisty fucking corridor of
Yeah,
wonder.
yeah. Fucking science.
Fucking science. Well, congratulations. Yeah. I had a meeting with a guy a couple of days ago who was like on the day of his colonoscopy prep.
Yeah.
And he I'm like, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? And he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm in the middle of colonoscopy prep and I'm not happy about it. And I went, oh man, congratulations. And he's like, what? And I told him the same thing. I said, man, fentanyl is so good. You're just going to love it. Yeah.
You're a fascinating man.
I mean, fentanyl is a fascinating drug.
I'm sure it is. As long as it's controlled.
Yeah. No, I mean, whatever. Control it, don't control it. What I would like is a place that you could go where you could say, hello, I would like some fentanyl, please. Here's money. And I'm going to go have a seat over here on this happy chair while you administer a properly dosed amount.
What happens if that person's having a bad day and they slip up and they give you just a bit too much?
You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't even know it.
It's true.
It would be like nothing happened.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. It would be great.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't even, that's the thing, Perez, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. If I never
You got
woke
two-
up from that colonoscopy.
You got 2 cats?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have 2 cats?
Yeah, what are you, new here? Well, I don't know where you see a second one, but yeah.
Well, I saw a second one earlier, and then I saw the black thing there. I just assumed that was a shirt, and now I've just realized that's a cat.
That's a cat. Yeah, I have 2 black cats.
All right. Sorry.
I mean, I've had them for quite a while. You've seen both of them. You've touched both
I
of
only
them.
remember one.
All right, well, they're there.
And then I saw the shirt move, and I was like, oh, that's not a shirt. It's
That's
a cat.
not a shirt. Shirts don't move.
Shirts don't move by themselves. Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting a colonoscopy.
Congratulations. And to everybody out there listening, if you are due for a colonoscopy and you don't want to, or you're apprehensive or you're scared or whatever, just trust me because I have a microphone. They're great.
That's right.
You're going to love it. Best time ever.
With great microphone comes great responsibility.
Does it?
I don't know. Maybe.
No, I think it's actually not the case. I think with great microphone comes no responsibility.
No responsibility. Just say
None
whatever the fuck you want and
Yeah.
just meh. All right.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
fine
you
with
know-
that too.
You know what we didn't do?
What's that?
We didn't clap at all.
We did not clap. I noticed it. I didn't say anything about it because I wanted to see where you went with it, and you just went full steam ahead. So I followed suit.
All right. Well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that this episode will sound like the two of us just talking over each other the whole time.
That's okay. No one's listening. It's just us.
People listen.
People listen.
We have an amount of listeners. Our friends in Germany still continue to listen to us. Thank you, Germany.
I haven't checked the stats in quite a bit.
Okay.
I've been slacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We have, about, I'd say 40 or so average listens per episode.
all right.
It's the usual, it seems like it's the usual suspects.
The huge.
Yeah, what's surprising is that we have quite a few views on YouTube, and I'm not quite sure why, because I had gone through the trouble of uploading like a half a dozen of some of our first episodes just audio, and nobody listened to those. But the first time we put video up, it was like nearly 30.
People like to
listens,
see.
30
People like to
videos.
watch.
Yeah, creeps.
People like to observe. Like monkeys in a cage.
Like monkeys. Who's the monkeys? We're the monkeys.
We're the monkeys. Think about it. If someone said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the zoo, but you're only gonna hear the monkeys," you're gonna be like, "I don't want to fucking hear monkeys." But if they say you're gonna hear and see the monkeys, well then, I'm in.
That's a very good point.
So here we are.
We're like
Monkeys in a cage. Monkeys in a digital cage.
Wow. Yeah.
Look at us go.
Look at us go. All right. Well,
Yeah.
what's the matter with you otherwise? So you're getting a colonoscopy that just happens to be a coincidence, but what do you got?
So it's a coincidence and it's not, right? So I went to the doctor end of October because I thought I had a hernia. Having pain in my abdomen. I think I told you this. I don't know if I did. Maybe I didn't tell
I
you
don't
this.
think you did.
I had pain in my abdomen, pain in one of my nuts. So I went to the doctor, went through a series of humiliating tests. People coming in, touching me, looking at me. There was a whole audience. It was fucking mortifying. So then I had to go for a sonogram of my pelvic area and my nuts.
Oh, I've had that before.
Yeah.
The testicular sonogram is especially embarrassing.
It's incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was less embarrassing, however, than the examination by the doctor.
Oh, okay.
Because the doctor was just like, all right, take your pants off. I'm going to do this thing. And I'm like, well, can I cover up first? Like, this is my best showing here. And she's just like, nope. Oh, and I got to bring in a nurse to be a witness. I'm like, a witness? Why? Yeah. So you could tell, first off, when the nurse came in, like, you could tell she wanted no part of this because she was basically like just looking at the floor. She was probably just as mortified as I was. But whatever, the doctor did her thing, and she said, I got to send you for the test. At least when I went for the sonogram, the sonogram tech was like, all right, here's a blanket, here's this, cover yourself up, just expose your nuts, and then I was like, all right, well, this is slightly less embarrassing. Thank you.
So you feel
Thank you for making me feel like a human being.
you feel like covering up with a sheet and exposing only your testicles is somehow better than just dropping your pants and getting it over with.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I quite vividly remember the moment where it was like, okay, cover yourself up and then expose only your testicles. And then the man that was there with the sonogram machine wand, began to manipulate my testicles in such a way that effectively uncovered the rest of me in such a manner that was very unpleasant. And he's just kind of like, oh, no, let's move your penis out of the way because it's in the way of this testicle. Oh,
Did he move it or you moved it?
he moved it.
Oh, no. So, see, I had a female technician.
Oh, well, okay.
So she was, she was very adamant. She's like, all right, make sure you put your penis against your abdomen and then hold it with your hand.
Oh, okay.
Well, with a blanket, obviously. And I was like, you got it.
I'm
You
gonna
got
need-
it, Toots.
I'm going to need you to hold your dick while I fondle your balls.
Yeah. So she did that, and then they did the pelvic sonogram and revealed nothing. No hernia, no nothing. So then my doctor decided, well, then we're going to send you for a CAT scan with contrast.
Oh.
Then I thought to myself, why didn't you do that in the first place?
Well, it's way more expensive and
I
difficult.
don't give a fuck. That's what I pay for insurance for.
Yeah, but that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, all right. So I went for the thing. I had to drink the whatever, the solution in the waiting room, and then I went in and they scanned, and everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
There was no tears, no nothing, no blockages. Like everything looked clean. Intestines looked good. Like everything looks fine. Okay. So whatever. Like I still have, even to now, I still have like discomfort. I don't know if it's just a pulled muscle that I just haven't allowed to heal because I'm an idiot and I continue to do things that I probably shouldn't do.
That's possible.
But that's not what was the issue this time around when I went to the doctor. So like this happened to me once before back in June, where out of the blue I'll start to feel kind of icky, and I'll notice my resting heart rate goes up. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, right? To the average person, usually my resting heart rate's like 60, 61-ish. Mm-hmm. And when these episodes happen, it progressively starts to go up, peaks at about 71, 72.
Are you monitoring yourself at this point?
Yeah, I've got a thing, a little watch there, and I monitor myself.
Okay.
Which probably doesn't help because it feeds into my own neurosis, right?
Yeah, because you're looking at data now that
I'm
you don't
looking
know how
at
to
data and I'm
interpret.
fucking. But the thing is, everyone I tell this to, like, dude, resting heart rate of 70 is still like it's pretty fucking good. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you're not a marathon runner. It shouldn't be 30. You're fine.
Right. But my thing is that when it's elevated, I feel it. Mm-hmm. Like I'm conscious of it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then it just spirals me out a little bit more. So I'm sure that feeds into it further, right?
The anxiety makes the anxiety.
The anxiety piles on top of the anxiety, and then it creates this whole anxiety mountain, and I'm on top of it, fucking curled up in a fetal position, crying.
That's about right.
So
I've been on that mountain before.
yeah. So the first time this happened back in June, like I got so freaked out, I went to an urgent care. And I was like, hey, my heart's doing weird things. I'm freaking out. Can you check it out? And even the lady was like, all right. And she took my pulse and she was like, yeah, you're resting. I mean, she's like, your heart rate's right now in the 80s, which is like still pretty good. Like, she's like, you're fine. She's like, if you want, we'll do an EKG and check you out. If that makes you feel better. I was like, yep, do it. So they did a whole EKG and they were like, look, you're fine. She's like, if anything, maybe you're fighting off a virus of some sorts, and that's why your heart rate's elevated, and you just. And I'm like, okay, I guess. I'm like, but then why don't I have any other symptoms if I'm fighting off a virus? Like, I don't have a runny nose, I don't have a cold, I don't have a sore
That's how it
throat.
works sometimes. Yeah.
But that's never worked like that before.
Yeah, but past performance is not an indicator of future success.
I don't believe that.
It's true.
Why all of a sudden things change like that in my body? All of a sudden my body is like this superhuman thing. You got a virus, you're not going to get a cold. Your heart's just going to freak out.
You're an old man now.
Yeah, but shouldn't whatever.
Yeah. Well, so like take it from my perspective, right? I've
Yeah.
got a condition that makes it so that way anything could happen at any time, all the time, or not at all.
Right.
So from memory loss to random pains to joint problems to loss of balance to whatever, you name it, and it's possible with this condition. And there's no way to really know whether or not it's the condition or if it's because I'm over 40. And fairly regularly when I go to the doctor for my regular checkups, that's exactly what I say. It's like, here are the things that happened as I'm supposed to report. And then I say, is it MS or is it because I'm 42? And the doctor goes, we don't know. And I went, excellent.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It's like they don't know.
No.
You know, my heart rate goes up. I have these headaches that kick in and out throughout the course of the day. I feel like sluggish. I'm just off.
How's your blood
when your
pressure?
body's off, you're off.
Yeah.
You're not yourself. You're just this fucking weird pod person.
Sure. How's your blood pressure? Is your blood pressure normally okay?
110/70.
Yeah, you're golden.
Yeah. No. And that's the frustrating part. I go for she sent me for blood work. Everything.
You want something to be wrong.
It's not that I want something to be wrong. I want an explanation for what the fuck makes me feel like shit for about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
You might not get an explanation.
That's what frustrates me.
And that desire to get an explanation and the frustration of not getting an explanation is potentially what's causing you to feel crappy in the first place.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm
brain-
starting to come to grips with that.
It's your brain hole,
she,
Fred.
she gave me anxiety pills, which I took for 2 days, and I was like, I can't live like this either, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Because this is not a solution. This is just a fucking Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So, because those make me even more zombie-like.
Yeah. There's a reason why I've been in therapy for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take drugs.
I'm gonna have to get into that. And that's the other thing. You look for a therapist that's covered by insurance, and
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough one.
yeah.
It's
fun.
So looking for a therapist is a difficult task. It's kind of like dating.
Yeah, you got to find the right one. You got to
find
match
the
with
right-
someone. You
Yeah,
can't just,
so like the same way you might go out on a date with a woman, and you've bought this dinner and you've paid for fucking movie tickets or whatever the fuck it is people do on dates nowadays. You've spent an amount of money to figure out whether or not you want to spend more money again later or not.
yeah.
So that way you can go find somebody else to go spend money on for a little bit until you make that decision again. So it is a process. It's taken me, I want to say over the course of 20 years or so, I've had about 6 or 7 different therapists, and only 2 of them have been any good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to get over this desire to find a reason for anything.
Yeah, no, there's no reason for anything.
Yeah, but when it comes to how you feel, your body, like, not that you want something wrong. It's not that I want something wrong. It's more that I want a solution to what's wrong.
Yeah, but so finding out what might be wrong through some kind of answer doesn't necessarily provide you with a solution either.
I guess. But it frustrates me that the people who are supposed to be professionals at this don't really, like,
Well,
it's kind of a crapshoot.
so like, look, I mean, I'll give you mine here. So MS is one of the more bizarre autoimmune disorders that exists.
Yeah.
It is generally not understood very well at all. And it just so happens that 2 of the most complicated and least understood parts of human anatomy are what MS are: the endocrine system and the nervous system. What the fuck? Why can't I think of the word? The nervous system.
Neurological.
The nervous
Nervous?
system.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
we knew what you meant.
Yeah, thank you. So those 2 things are the least understood. And what I do appreciate about my doctors is they straight up go like, "Oh no, we have no idea why that happens." And
See, I'd rather...
yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, guy. Like, one of my neurologists actually really appreciated. She goes, the reason, because I asked her straight up, I go, "Why did you pick this one?" Because she specializes in MS. And she's like, "Well, because it's a puzzle. We have no idea why it happens. We don't know what causes it. We don't know what even decides or why your immune system decides to attack your neurons. We have no clue why it happens. And when it happens, we have no clue where and how it's going to happen. And quite frankly, everybody who has it is going to have a different experience." And she goes, "That's interesting." And I went, "Oh, all right. I appreciate that." So I have zero. The only thing I know is I have it. I don't know how it's going to manifest itself. I don't know what it's going to do to me. I may live to 95 years old without any problems. I may be in a wheelchair in 5 years. There's no way to know.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You'll be fine.
I'm sure I will. It's just frustrating
I know.
because I want to know what it is.
Doesn't matter.
If there's something that triggers it, can I prevent it?
Yeah.
What is it? Why does my body react this way all of a sudden after 43 years of just,
Because it's old. Did you change? When was the last time you changed your oil? Are you keeping up with maintenance?
No.
There you go. You fucking drive a car around for 60,000 miles. You don't change the oil. You might have some problems. You're going to get some piston slap. You're going to get some lifter tick.
How do I change my oil?
I mean, like what? So one of the things that kind of I'm now fully aware of in some way is that, like, how many times do I get to bend this elbow before I can't bend it anymore, right? There's a limited number of bends on this elbow.
All right.
Okay? Just like any other mechanical system. There's lubricant, there's connecting rods, there's little bits and pieces that make it all fucking work, right? But at some point or another, this is going to run out. It's like the convertible top on my car. That is a 23-year-old mechanical system. I have no idea how the fuck it works. And I just know that it opens and closes most of the time. But I also know that one day when I go to push that button, it's just not going to work. So I have a limited number. So every time I put my top up on the car down, I think, well, cool, it worked this time. So I feel the same way about my body. Like this is a machine that has now been in service for 42 years. And I've gone out of my way to ignore what it's telling me. I've gone out of my way to punish it in some kind of attempt to, I don't know, be a man, whatever. And it's going to start getting worse from here on out.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Eat more vegetables. Do more cardiovascular physical activities. And you'll probably feel better. I know firsthand. So I could lose 20 pounds. I couldn't, actually. I haven't, because I literally ate a whole pizza last night. But I should lose 20 pounds. Okay. I should lose 20 pounds. And I know damn well that if I lose 20 pounds, I will feel better.
Right.
But I'm not doing it.
But you're not going to.
This pizza is delicious. Yeah. Yeah. Look, when I was at my most active, when I was fucking cycling around Colorado and climbing mountains with my eyes closed on my fucking hands upside down in the snow, I felt great. I felt great. All the time. Now I don't do any of that shit anymore. I eat whole pizzas. I feel like fucking trash.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Well,
Eat whole pizzas.
I mean, why not? What are you going to do? Not eat the pizza?
I'll eat a couple of slices.
What do you do with the rest of the pizza?
I usually feed my family.
Oh, that was so close.
Haven't done that in a while.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Good old-fashioned spit takes. That's probably a good thing to do with the rest of the pizza. Yeah.
Sorry, kids. Daddy's going to eat this pizza. You guys get to watch. Daddy's going to gorge himself.
Oh, fuck. I literally found myself sitting on the couch eating a whole pizza, watching a YouTube video about a man eating a whole pizza. I was in some kind of gluttony inception.
That's some weird vicious cycle you got going on there.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I got a problem.
Yeah. Was it a good pizza?
It was great pizza.
Domino's or just local pizza place?
No, I'm very local. I made it myself.
Whoa,
Yeah.
homemade.
Yeah, fuck yeah, buddy.
That's a little better at least. It's a little healthier.
You know, maybe it is. I mean,
Maybe
I know
not.
what's in it,
Right.
so that's cool. And I know that what's in it is flour and salt and garlic and copious amounts of cheese.
Okay.
So,
Sauce?
And tomatoes. Yeah, I know what the ingredients are because I put them in there, but I can't say that it's healthier.
I would say it's probably a little healthier.
Marginally healthier.
Marginally.
It's significantly less expensive
Sure.
by a large margin. Like a whole pizza costs me, I think, actually like $3 or $4 to produce. And like, a fairly large pizza, and I make it in a pan. I don't bother trying to do the pizza stone thing because that's just a fuck show in a home oven. It doesn't work well.
In a pan?
Yeah, like in a sheet pan.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a frying pan.
Yeah, no. Like,
Fucking
yeah,
make
sheet pan.
pizza in a frying pan.
Yeah, because I live at altitude, and at altitude everything's different when it comes to cooking because boiling point's different, humidity, all that jazz. So any kind of baking process is more complicated. And I tried years ago to use the pizza stone, and it just makes a mess, and it doesn't really work that well. And the only way to make good pizza on a pizza stone in a home oven, especially at altitude, is through like a great deal of precision and effort. Or you can put it in a sheet pan and make yourself a big ass rectangular pizza, and it's fucking easy, and it's delicious, and it's like 99% of the way there.
You've changed.
How?
You were Mr. Precision and Effort. Now look at you.
Well, okay, so it's interesting because yes,
Path of least resistance just for gluttony.
Well, when it comes to gluttony, friend, I need action. Yeah, yeah. Look, I still operate with some degree of precision and all that, but also, yeah, there's an amount of precision that exists in the world that simply prevents completion. And the old saying that everybody's heard is don't let perfection get in the way of progress. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to learn that, holy fuck, you could really not do anything with yourself simply by pretending like you're going to get it perfect.
Look at you.
Look at me.
You've evolved.
Yeah, just as my body's failing me, my mind's finally catching up.
Hey, look.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You can become like Professor X.
All right.
Yeah. See? Your body may not be there, but you'll be able to use your mind in all types of new ways.
Yeah, in all types of new ways.
All types of new ways. You
So
never knew
basically, I'm
existed.
going to be shouting at people from my wheelchair.
Poking them with a stick.
Hey, you damn kid.
You boy,
Come listen to this old man tell you stories.
do this.
I have
Do it
wisdom
this
for
way.
you.
You're doing it wrong, stupid.
You're doing it wrong, stupid.
You and your good legs.
What, you think you can walk around? So that makes you better than me?
What a waste of appendages.
Yeah. So anyway, pizza making, it maybe like if I lived next to a pizza place, if I lived on Long Island still, and I could pick up a fucking communication device and a man with pizza could show up at my door, I would do that, no question. But I don't live in that environment.
It's probably a good thing. You'd be like 500 pounds by now.
That's the thing. It's like so like, this whole concept of moving down to the suburbs is just me gaining weight. Because I haven't lived in the suburbs in like 7 years now.
Yeah.
So I've had so all the nonsense that I involve myself in of lack of physical activity and increased gluttony is still not as bad as it could be if I lived next to a pizza place. If I lived next to a fucking, holy fuck, dude, there's the neighborhood we're looking at buying a house and there's a fucking Popeyes there. Yeah. You have any idea how much of a problem that actually is?
I look forward to Fat Midwestern Mark.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to figure that one out before it's too late. Look, I've just been exercising my table muscle.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're exercising your joints.
Just using up number of elbow bends.
That's it. Those elbow bends. Gotta get them in.
Imagine if we had a rating, like when we're born, the doctor goes, all right elbow, 750,000 bends, left elbow, probably 600,000 bends. All right, there you go. There's your rating for future.
Could you imagine that? That'd be great.
If you knew
Yeah,
precisely,
you'd be able to plan everything out.
would you try to bend your elbows less?
No, but I would have more meaningful bends.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You wouldn't waste the bends.
I wouldn't waste the bends on something stupid.
Yeah.
But choose my bending.
Isn't that kind of the whole point of being a young person, is that you don't really have this concept of limited number of bends, so you bend all willy-nilly and you go and you figure shit out.
Yeah. It's only until you get older you start realizing, man, I wasted all those bends.
Totally.
If I knew then what I knew now,
Well, then
bend
it's,
less.
yeah, but see, now it's your job as a father to pass on that knowledge to your children so they can ignore it, and then make the same mistakes you made.
That's pretty much what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it like for you to think about your children as middle-aged people having a discussion like this with their friends or each other?
Never really thought of it.
I mean, you'll probably be dead by then.
No.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're giving yourself a lot of credit.
43. I will be in my late 70s.
I mean, the average life expectancy in the United States for a man is 72.
I plan to blow past that.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, good for you.
Once I get my neurosis under control, I'll be all right.
Well, that's a real positive outlook of you. I don't expect to make it past 60.
I figure by the time I'm 50, I'll have this licked.
All right.
Yeah.
figuring by the
Shooting
time
for a good decade. I'm shooting for the 50s to be my prime spot, my peak.
I'm hoping that by the time you're 50, I'll have you licked too.
Hey, come out for the colonoscopy. You'll get your chance. I'll be out cold.
Yeah, it's not the same though. I want you to be an active participant.
Who are you, sir? I'm just here for the licking. That's not part of this procedure.
We had a discussion prior to this. I got to lick him before he's 50. This was my chance. Stay out of my
This
way.
is my only chance.
Stay out of my way.
This will be the only chance he's sedated. Yeah, I plan on being at least into the 80s.
Oh, good for you.
That's my goal in life.
Do you feel like you'll be disappointed if you die at 70?
Of course, I'll be disappointed when I die at any age.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I feel like by thinking I'll be dead by 60, if I make it to 70, I'll be like, holy fuck, what a good job I did.
I want to live forever. Like, if vampires existed, I'd be lining up to get bitten.
See, I can't even. No, fuck no.
Oh, fuck yeah. If I knew there was vampires out there, I'd be like, yo, me, come on, right there. Let's go. I don't care. I'll
Literally.
sleep all day and be up at night. Let's go for it.
We've had this conversation before.
I'll miss
Literally-
garlic, but that's okay.
I'll miss garlic. Literally every fucking story of anybody who's immortal ever in any story from the history of humanity has been wishing to die.
Because they're idiots. They're fucking idiots. They're not taking full advantage of
what?
their immortality.
What are you gonna do?
Live forever.
Okay, so
Do everything.
you've watched
Do
your
whatever the fuck you want.
You've watched your children and your wife and your family and your friends die hundreds of times over and over again. You got to start over every single time. How many times do you have to do that before you're just by yourself?
As many times as you want. You're immortal.
Yeah, but then what
That's
about
the beauty of it, Mark.
Yeah.
You can cycle back and forth. You can choose. You can go, all right, this next 100 years, I'll decide to do the whole family thing. And then the next 100 years, I'm going to be a hermit on a mountain. And then the next 100 years, I'll go back to, you have options.
what meaning does any of it have?
Limitless options.
Yeah, but what meaning does it have if there's no end to it?
The meaning is you can do whatever the fuck you want forever. I mean, Jesus.
Sorry.
It's,
Yeah.
to me, it's a no-brainer.
I completely disagree with that point of view.
All right. Look, we'll agree to disagree then.
I think that if you live too long,
Yeah.
then your life has well, let's put it this way, less meaning.
I don't think so.
Think about all those 2-year-olds out there that are dead now. How much fucking A. They fucking did it.
Terrible.
Zip right through the whole deal. Bingo
Yeah.
bango.
No. Vampires.
Vampires.
Step right up, bite me right in the neck.
Is that the like
I'm in.
how many times in this podcast have I advocated for the death of children?
Pretty regularly, actually. It's kind of alarming. You think about it.
You got me that time.
It's a little alarming, but
Yeah.
it's all right. You don't have kids, so it's
Coffee everywhere.
I worry for your cats, but
Oh no, them I like.
they seem to be all right.
Yeah. And they're doing fine. Those guys shifting positions.
Yeah, that cat has shifted like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So just get comfortable already.
Yeah, he is. That's
What the fuck's wrong with
What the fuck is wrong with you? He's a cat. Yeah. You do it. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, so have you because this is actually a question I wanted to ask you before we got off on the tangents, but have you had a rectal exam?
No, I almost got one though. So while I was in with the gastro guy, he asked me just that question. He goes, "Did your primary give you a rectal exam?" And I was like, no." He goes, "Oh, all right. Well, we can do it now, or I can just do it during the colonoscopy." And I didn't answer him, but in my head I was like, "You should fucking do it during the colonoscopy when I'm asleep, and I don't really care that you have a finger up my ass."
Yeah.
But before I could say anything, he goes, "We'll just do it now." And I'm like, "Ah, fuck."
Okay.
So we got to talking about the whole procedure, the colonoscopy and everything, and he seems he got to have gotten distracted.
Okay.
And he forgot about the rectal exam. Okay. And he said, all right, I'm going to go out. I'm going to set you up with the nurse. She'll get you set up for the 5th and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, no problem. See you later.
See you, bye. Thank you. Yeah.
Not going to remind you of this.
That was I think I told you the story of getting my physical when I was going to join the Navy. So it's literally a room filled with 18-year-old boys in their underwear walking around the perimeter of a room to get varying degree of physical examinations done.
Right.
So you go to station 1, you get your blood pressure. Station 2, they check your fucking tonsils. I don't know, whatever. So you just go around the room, and there's this one station which was the prostate exam. And somehow I managed to do kind of like a little like spin around and then just walk right past the prostate exam section and then just carry on. I never had a prostate exam when everybody else did. And at the time I felt like it was a triumph. You know, now I'm thinking like, I probably need one of those at some point. I don't want one, but I probably need one of those. I had a rectal exam prior to the colonoscopy.
Yeah. And
it's odd that they said that we'll just do it during the colonoscopy, because a colonoscopy is a rectal exam.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the Mac Daddy of rectal exams.
Exactly.
But yeah, you probably have hemorrhoids, fella.
Maybe, I don't know.
I bet you $1 you have hemorrhoids.
It's possible.
Everybody that I've spoken to of our age, myself included, who have been, oh no, what's going on with me? I better go get a colonoscopy. Have hemorrhoids.
There's no blood or anything when I poop.
It doesn't have to be. Like, so for instance, sometimes when I poop, I get blood from the hemorrhoids. Sometimes I just have pain. No blood from the hemorrhoids. Yeah, got hemorrhoids.
Yeah, but I don't have a pain in my ass.
It's not in your ass. It's in your ass region.
I don't have any pain in my ass region. My pain is in the abdominal region.
Yeah. Your colon goes like up to effectively the top of your pelvis. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is like lower, like in the the V area of your.
Yeah, that's where your colon is, guy. It snakes its way around that whole area, and hemorrhoids can happen on the outside of your sphincter,
right,
and all the way up your colon. Yeah.
We'll find out on the 5th.
Well, I hope you have hemorrhoids.
I hope I have nothing, but...
No, so you don't. You hope you have... You need an answer.
I do need an answer.
You need an answer. You need... Somebody needs to know what the answer Alex,
is.
We have discovered this thing, and here is what we're going to do about it in this multi-step formula.
But I don't think the thing is anything internal. I think the thing is... It's more than likely a muscle pull. I'm starting to lean towards that direction. But no one seems to want to, like... Even though the gastro guy was like, yeah, look, I was like, I'm having these pains over here. It's not like a debilitating pain. I can function. It's just kind of an annoying, like, hey, I'm here. Mm-hmm. Hello. Mm-hmm. And he, like, poked around, and he felt me, and he was like, oh, all right, well. All right, well, we're going to schedule you a colonoscopy and this and that. I'm like, okay, like, nothing? He's like, yeah. And then I read, like, the report on my chart, and it was like, yeah, he's complaining of pains, but it's probably nothing. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're so quick to dismiss it. I'm like,
yeah. You know why? Because they've seen it before. They've seen 40-year-old men walk into their office and go, Doc, it hurts, and I don't know why. And they go, yeah, it's because you're 40, but nobody wants to hear that. So they poke you, they run a couple of tests, they spend a little money, and then they fucking get you goddamn out of their office so they can help somebody with a real problem.
But I'd rather hear, hey, it's just because you're fucking 40. No one has said that to me. No one has come out and said, hey, this is just your body falling apart because you're 40 years old. You're not a doctor. You're just a guy who's eating pizza in the mountains.
Well, you should just ask. Be like, hey, is this because I'm just over 40 and I've never been over 40 before and my body's starting to fall apart? I bet you a doctor will say yes. Because here's the thing, right? They're not interested in you. They don't care. They don't.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
They don't. They've got so many fucking people to see with problems that are real that they can help. They're not going to fucking spend too much time on you. They're gonna kick you down the curb and say, maybe we can get a couple of tests out of this guy. Send him for a colonoscopy. He needs one anyway. It's a good idea. Okay, fine. You want to do a CAT scan? I don't know. Do we really need to? I don't know. But that's like a good margin from the insurance company. Fuck it. Send it to he doesn't know any better. Just fucking send it to him. You going to tell him it's because he's 40? No, of course not. If I tell him because he's 40, he's not going to come back to the doctor. How are we going to earn any money?
I don't like that. It's bullshit.
Welcome to America, friend. Fudd?
I know.
Fudd? I just called you Fudd.
FUD. That's all right. Here's another fucking fun little thing I found out after my physical. Before I used to be able to go in there and get my physical, get blood work done right then and there in the office. Boom. Hey, go right down the hall. She's going to take your blood. You'll have results in about 24 hours. Awesome. Cool. I'm there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for my blood work. She goes, yeah, no, you can't. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, I fasted. I did the whole thing. I haven't eaten since last night. She goes, yeah, no, your insurance company doesn't allow us to take your blood anymore in the office. We just got the notification 2 weeks ago that this particular brand of insurance doesn't allow for that. So you're going to have to go for a lab.
Yep. It's cheaper.
So I had to make an appointment for a lab. So I had to wait 3 days to get my fucking blood work done. But it's like, what the fuck?
Yep. Your inconvenience is worth their cost savings.
Yeah, I know.
They don't care.
But I don't like it.
Yeah, well.
It's bullshit. What if there was something wrong with me? I had to wait 3 days to find out. 4 days.
The insurance
5,
company
actually.
doesn't care.
I know they don't care. I'm just a number. I'm just a
You're not even a
blip.
number. You're not even a number.
That's not how the healthcare system should work.
Should.
Shouldn't.
Should.
Why?
I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying should. I'm just repeating the word should. It's my least favorite word in the English language.
Should?
Everybody's like,
You don't like should?
Things should be like this. Yeah, of course they should be, but they're not going to be.
They should be.
Suck it up.
I don't want to suck it up.
I do.
January 5th.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dear Brother podcast. Check us out on the internet, wherever you get your internets.
Hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Twitter at dearbrother_pod or on our website, dearbrotherpodcast.com.